Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back from the ad break. You are still watching Prime Life. Now, we are pleased to welcome Cristiano Dos Ramos, who is a professional Call of Duty mobile player who's here to share his insight into the world of professional gaming as a career. As one of the rising stars in competitive gaming scene, Cristiano brings a unique perspective on the skills, dedication, and sacrifices that are required. Now, we will be delving into a very exciting conversation because we will be speaking about high stakes world of esports and discover what it takes to turn your passion of gaming into a full-time career. Thank you so much for joining us, Cristiano, and welcome to Prime Life.
Hi there, Aisha. Thank you so much for having me. It's an absolute pleasure, and I'm looking forward to the interview.
Thank you so much. Now, what first attracted you to competitive gaming at first, and then why specifically Call of Duty Mobile?
Okay, so I've always had a competitive integrity, especially when growing up, back in school, I delved into sports and athletics. So the hunger to compete has always been there, and gaming has always been in my life for as long as I can remember. And I happened to stumble across the Call of Duty World Championships for Black Ops 2 back in 2013, while actually working on a university assignment, burning the midnight oil, and I was instantly hooked. So the idea of competing one day potentially on that main stage and with that share of the $1 million prize pool, it blew my mind. So being a lifelong fan of the Call of Duty franchise, when I saw the Call of Duty Mobile released in October 2019, I downloaded the game immediately and I started grinding it from the get-go. And that to me felt like the perfect mix of my passion for the game as well as my competitive spirits in general.
Sounds like you've always been someone that is big on gaming and this is something that you've always liked. But what made you decide to pursue this as a professional career so that you can be a full-time gamer?
Yeah, I would have to say it was the in life, we obviously put a lot of time and effort into something. So my return on investment would then be competing and then potentially, hopefully get a chance at winning, that big of a prize pool. So I would say that would be the initial instance would be the prize pool, and then obviously just my passion for gaming in a nutshell.
And esports and professional gaming are rapidly still, relatively new in South Africa. They may be growing elsewhere, but in South Africa, it's still something that's still not popular. For someone that wants to get into the space, what are the perspective or what can they expect from this industry?
Yes, so that's true, Aisha. It's definitely a challenge in Africa, but also incredibly rewarding. So esports in South Africa, for example, it's still in its early stages when compared to the rest of the world. So we lack the necessary infrastructure. We're obviously limited on some sponsorship opportunities. And unfortunately, most of the time we are excluded from those international events, which makes it quite difficult to showcase our talents on that world stage. But at the same time, Africans and South Africans alike, it creates a hunger and resilience in our community. So we built something strong from the ground up. There are passionate organizers such as ACGL, which is the African Cyber Gaming League. We have talented players and fans who generally love the scene. But it's not easy, especially, most of us are working full-time jobs, or we are studying, or we're supporting our families. But our growth is undeniable. And for example, the events like the Carifress Africa Cup is proving that Africa deserves a seat at the global table.
And can you take us through like a typical day as a gamer? What does it look like, and how do you get paid as a gamer for people that might not be familiar with the process?
Yes, so I obviously compete in Call of Duty Mobile. Being a mobile game, we're lucky in a way that we can play almost anywhere. We are not desk bound as other platforms with PC gaming or console gaming. So for instance, a typical practice day normally runs from say 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. Occasionally every night. And then we scrim, which is referred to as an online practice against other top teams, shall I rather say, in various game modes. We then strategize with our coaches. They sit in on the games and watch us. And then we review video footage that helps us study our performance. And then thereafter, we can see where we need to improve. I myself personally, I like to study international pro players as if I'm doing basic homework, as we would say back in school. That helps me play my best and obviously helps me refine my gameplay.
That's very interesting. And how do you maintain focus, motivation, and a healthy balance in your life while also pursuing this career?
Yes, so first and foremost, coffee definitely helps. But I believe it's really a mix of good habits. So, for instance, my wife's amazing cooking, the fuel for the nutrition, staying hydrated with water, a regular exercise, whether it be going for a run or walk, just getting that sunlight. And one of the most important factors is getting proper rest, right? So getting a good night's sleep, as that will all affect your performance come match day or tournament day. I believe that motivation has never really been an issue for me because once you've tasted that success, obviously that hunger stays with you. But yeah, like I mentioned, I obviously wouldn't have been able to do that without the support of my wife and my family. It really helps me just to focus on the task at hand and my goals.
And for a gamer, especially, or let's speaking about your journey, what has been the most challenging thing about doing what you do?
Yes, so one of the biggest challenges I would say is if I'm taking it to, for instance, like the lack of international exposure. For the longest time, our region has been excluded from global competitions. So, with that being said, it's made it extremely hard to stay motivated. You're putting in countless hours of practice with little to no return, and that's tough mentally and emotionally. But on top of that, obviously being a full-time businessman and a father, that time is not really accessible as to say someone that is perhaps studying and doesn't have those commitments. But you find a way to work around it, especially with the support of your family.
And are there any trends or developments that you are particularly excited about or concerned about in the future of esports and professional gaming?
Yes, absolutely. So nothing to be concerned about, which is always a good thing. But right now, I'm very excited about the Carry First Africa Cup, which is the biggest Call of Duty mobile tournament on the continent. So it's a massive step forward in the right direction. We've got 8 regions which are set to meet in Lagos, Nigeria, at the end of August, and they will compete for $15,000 and a spot to represent the African continent in the Call of Duty Mobile World Championship 2025, which will be the first time for us in the African continent, and it's also historic. And on top of that, bigger news, Carry First has also just partnered with Spotify as the official music sponsor for the finals. So now we're not only seeing esports grow, but also how it's merging with entertainment and music. So that kind of collaboration will put African esports on the global map in a major way.
Most definitely. And for anyone that might be watching right now who is an aspiring, gamer or someone that wants to get into, being a professional gamer, what advice would you give to them?
So advice, okay, perhaps a little bit cliche, but just have that never give up attitude, that mindset. If you're passionate about gaming, that passion will always carry you through in any obstacle. Definitely build your brand, right? You must stay consistent with your craft and treat this like a profession and not just a hobby. So we can see that opportunities are growing in Africa regarding competitive gaming and esports. There's lots of organizations that offer contracts. With those contracts come compensation and exposure. So you have to believe in yourself and put in the hard work, because talent can get you noticed, but your mindset and your discipline will obviously get you to the top.
Most definitely. I mean, Cristiano, this has been an amazing conversation that we just had with you regarding professional gaming as a career in South Africa. And I think it just helped those who do not know. Like myself, I'm not really familiar with gaming. It's not something that I know very well. And I think I learned that this can also be a professional, career. This is something that you can do for a living. So thank you so much for shedding light in that regard. And thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Yours at home, that was Cristiano Dos Ramos, who is a professional gamer, and he was just, telling us about the skills and the dedication that is required for you to be a professional gamer. But without wasting any time, let's go to a quick break. We'll see you right after this.